I just quit my job. He's like, all right, dude, did someone put something in my coffee? Like, am I hallucinating right now, dude? Seriously, just imagine an entire medieval gang in the middle of a shopping mall parking lot at like 1:30, and then when you do confront them, they say they just quit their job, and when you're like, well, then go home, the knights don't draw their swords, no one gets angry, they just are like, okay, and go calmly about their business. You might be thinking you're hallucinating, anyone's dressed up, dude. Imagine he rubs his eyes a little bit, it's just like a bunch of business people walking around with briefcases everywhere, you know? The cop calls in, he's like, I think my eyes might be time traveling. Anyways, like I said, they all left and went about their business. The person who sent this to me went home and started looking for another job, and thankfully got one relatively quickly. And because of that, he had no regrets about how he had quit that job. I mean, I'm sure if he had like been jobless for months on end, you'd start to feel like a little bit of a moron for quitting whatever job you had last. But because he got another job quick, it made it even more easy to be like, yeah, I quit my last job like this, you know? He did keep in touch with some of his coworkers from there because he had worked there for so long, but most of them ended up quitting within a month of two, or as well of like him leaving. And the place did end up going out of business about a year later, you know? They never really had any cars in the parking lot, but no one that had worked there was too surprised. Sometimes you just don't need to fix what isn't broken, you know? Like I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you buy a business and it's fine, it's making tons of sales and it's printing money, you don't need to go in and start like yelling at everybody and making a bunch of changes, because it's doing what you want it to do, which is giving you revenue, you know? Like, there's just really no incentive to start screaming at people that are performing. I will say that was a great way to quit though, with some style. Just hire a medieval court to come tell your boss to shove it. Must have felt like the absolute man in that moment, you know? Listen, I understand we don't live in the 1400s anymore, but it doesn't mean you can't feel like an absolute G when somebody wearing like full plated armor just starts chanting your name. Maybe it's just because I'm like a little nerd or something, but I'm like, hey dude, if all the knights were like, Ryan, you're awesome, I'd be like, no, you're awesome, thank you. It is weird how things change though. Like back